This is a kidnapping and murder case that once shocked Taiwan and even the whole of Asia. He was once a famous singer and actor in Taiwan, but his daughter, during the peak of her own career, was kidnapped by criminals. Originally, the kidnappers only wanted to extort money, but hundreds of unscrupulous media outlets craving for sensational stories made the frightened kidnappers change their minds. In the end, his daughter was raped and murdered by the criminals. So how did this kidnapping happen? And what did the media do to anger the kidnappers? Today we tell the story of Bai Xiaoyan. On Monday, April 14, 1997, the Taiwanese artist Bai Bingbing went out to work, preparing to shoot the MVP for her upcoming new album. Her 16-year-old daughter Bai Xiaoyan, who was in second year of high school, also set off as usual to attend Jingsu Middle School in New Taipei City. But that very night, while still working, Bai Bingbing suddenly received a phone call, with the caller claiming her daughter had been kidnapped by them, and if she wanted to save her, she must now go to the Gi Mountain Cemetery in Taoyuan City, where they would be waiting. The call then ended. Desperate to rescue her daughter, Bai Bingbing went to the designated cemetery, which was very dark around, with only faint streetlights lighting the roadside. When she arrived at the cemetery gate, she found neither the kidnappers nor her daughter, only a conspicuous craft paper bag. She opened the bag. Inside were 3 nude photos of her daughter Bai Xiaoyan and a small wooden stick. Besides that, there was a handwritten letter of plea for help by Bai Xiaoyan, which said she was suffering greatly now. The kidnappers demanded 5 million in serial-numbered old US dollar bills, or they would not release her. She must not call the police, or her life would be in danger. Seeing that her daughter had already been harmed, Bai Bingbing broke down on the spot as a mother. Though she quickly began raising the ransom money according to the kidnappers' demands. To be safe and find her daughter faster, she also chose to report to the police while gathering the money. The Taipei police took Bai Bingbing's report very seriously. That same night, the chief of Taipei police personally led the formation of the 0494 Special Case Team, because they knew that Bai Bingbing was undoubtedly the top female star in Taiwan's entertainment circle at that time. Later, Bai Bingbing was born in Taiwan Province in 1955 and graduated from the Life Sciences Department of Taiwan Open University, although she debuted as a singer in Taiwan in 1973. 2 years later, she went to Japan to develop her career. Although a Japanese film company highly valued Bai Bingbing, but later she married a fellow comic artist committee member, so she appeared very rarely on screen. However, by the year 1980, Bai Bingbing could no longer endure her husband's philandering and domestic violence, and chose to divorce him. Although she was already 7 months pregnant at that time, she firmly returned to Taipei while still pregnant, and had a cesarean section to give birth to her daughter, Bai Xiaoyan. Later, Bai Bingbing returned to the entertainment industry in Taiwan and released multiple music albums, and acted in many films and TV dramas. When her daughter was kidnapped, she had just won Best Actress at the Czechoslovakia Film Festival, and had already established a certain status in Taiwan's entertainment circle at that time. As the daughter of a famous actress, Bai Xiaoyan was essentially out of the public eye. With a low-key personality, simple dress, and excellent academic performance, her classmates all spoke highly of her. After she was kidnapped, teachers and classmates all prayed fervently for her safe return. After the 44 task force was established, Bai Bingbing handed over the craft paper bag to the police, hoping to provide more information. But what no one expected was, during transportation, the craft paper bag was intercepted by a newspaper, leaking news of Bai Xiaoyan's kidnapping. Just like that, it quickly spread throughout Taiwan's media. At first, many media outlets did not believe the incident was real, but then the Taiwan police, to protect Bai Bingbing, assigned several officers to stay at her home. They also mobilized 700 officers from other regions for the case. Such a large-scale operation confirmed the rumors that Bai Bingbing's daughter was kidnapped. The daughter of a famous actress was kidnapped, which was definitely explosive news for Taiwan's media. From that moment on, The phone at Bai Bingbing's home rang nonstop, with all calls coming from various media outlets, and, to get first-hand information, the reporters even booked all the hotels near Bai Bingbing's home overnight. Several large TV broadcast vehicles parked outside her house day and night, and even TV station helicopters hovered overhead. Such a huge spectacle caused great trouble for both Bai Bingbing and the police. On one hand, Bai Bingbing has to handle hundreds of calls every day, not knowing which one is from the kidnappers, so she has to stay by the phone constantly. On the other hand, media exposure would alert the criminals that Bai Bingbing has reported to the police, which would likely endanger Bai Xiaoyan's life. In response, Bai Bingbing pleaded more than once with the journalists, asking them to stop reporting on the case. Although after repeated negotiations, the reporters moved back one alley away from Bai Xiaoyan's home. The next day, they all returned again. At 7 o'clock in the evening on April 15th, Bai Bingbing received the second call from the kidnappers, who urged her to pay the ransom quickly. But $5 million was 4 times Bai Bingbing's savings at the time, and considering the limited amount of US dollars in Taiwan then, Bai Bingbing said she would need some time, and because they used a temporary phone number, the police could not trace them via the call. On April 16th, the kidnappers called again, urging Bai Bingbing to ask her daughter to say something over the phone, to confirm she was still alive. The kidnappers hung up, then called again 10 minutes later, and the voice on the line was an adult woman reading a newspaper. Bai Bingbing was very sure that this was not her daughter. On the afternoon of April 17th, at 1 o'clock, the kidnappers called again, and the voice on the phone was still that adult woman. She told Bai Bingbing to go alone to a certain bowling alley in Taoyuan City in 2 hours, to cooperate with the police. Bai Bingbing pretended she couldn't drive, and asked for a taxi. She agreed to go, and the kidnappers agreed. On the phone, Bai Bingbing subtly inquired, and learned that her daughter was indeed still alive, which made her ecstatic. Shortly after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Bai Bingbing and an undercover policeman posing as a driver set out carrying a large sum of money. At the same time, the police had tightly secured the ransom drop-off location, but just as they stepped out, they were immediately surrounded by 2 broadcast vans and numerous interviews from Crime File TV. The vehicles tailing Bai Bingbing that day formed what seemed like a convoy behind his car, which seriously disrupted the police's plan. Because of this, a police officer got out and angrily ordered journalists from different news agencies to leave. But unexpectedly, someone said, "If reporters from other stations don't leave, then we won't either." The criminals hiding in the shadows naturally saw this too, but they did not show up that day, and angrily called Bai Bingbing, telling him not to go home, and warning that they would make him regret it. Thus, in the following 2 days, the kidnappers called Bai Bingbing 7 times, demanding to change the ransom drop location. Bai Bingbing and several undercover officers followed the kidnappers' instructions, running back and forth across Taipei, while trying to avoid media surveillance as much as possible, but every time, resourceful reporters found their whereabouts. These reporters even claimed that they were concerned about Xiaoyan's safety and wanted to come to help. In the end, the kidnappers still did not appear. From the 19th to the 22nd, over 4 days, the criminals never called Bai Bingbing again. During this period, he personally begged the heads of various news agencies and TV stations, even pleaded with the director of the news bureau, asking them to stop sending reporters to follow, but it was all in vain. Now he could only pray that Xiaoyan was still alive. On April 23rd, the kidnappers finally called again, telling Bai Bingbing to arrive at Heisinshu Sports Complex by 7 o'clock in the evening, but he waited until 11 o'clock. They still did not show up. However, at the scene, besides the undercover police, Bai Bingbing also noticed a reporter filming from a car not far away. Knowing this time, the kidnappers would not appear again, 2 days later, on the 25th, Bai Bingbing received orders that the kidnappers wanted him to go alone to Taoyuan Sports Complex with the ransom at 8 o'clock that evening. However, The same situation happened around the sports complex again, with many news vehicles parked nearby, and even a helicopter was sent from the air to cover the event. Moreover, the police's communication devices, prepared in advance for the arrest operation, were also present. This was an unexpected loss of contact. It can be said that everything went wrong. Fortunately, the police finally managed to pinpoint the kidnappers' phone location that day. They arrested 3 men and 1 woman, 4 accomplices in total. However, all 4 were merely accomplices, and not the masterminds behind the crime. One of them was the wife of the principal criminal. By then, news of Bai Xiaoyan's kidnapping had spread throughout Taiwan. Bai Bingbing could only tearfully appeal for help from the public during a press conference. Though the police caught 4 accomplices, they were not fully involved in the kidnapping process. Therefore, regarding Bai Xiaoyan's whereabouts, they were also unaware. Until April 28th, a member of the public found a female corpse in a drainage ditch in Taipei. After verification, it was confirmed to be the kidnapped Bai Xiaoyan. The autopsy report showed that Bai Xiaoyan was drowned after death. Her left pinky finger's middle segment was cut off, and the wound was only treated with a wire and gauze. Her face was deformed due to beating. Both eyes were sunken, and there was extensive bruising inside the body. She had been raped before death. Additionally, Bai Xiaoyan's body was severely decomposed, and the forensic doctor estimated she had been dead for about 8 to 10 days. When she was submerged, she had 6 construction site hammerheads tied to her body. It seems that Bai Xiaoyan was brutally killed when Bai Bingbing made the first ransom delivery, which was when the kidnappers found out the media and police had intervened. If it were not for the extensive tracking and reporting, the kidnappers probably would not have been provoked. With Bai Xiaoyan confirmed dead, the media seemed even more reckless, starting even crazier coverage and tracking. They even published photos of Bai Xiaoyan's corpse and nude images in newspapers and magazines, with no respect for any bottom line. Meanwhile, the Taipei public, frustrated at the failure to catch the 3 main criminals, whose criminal methods were so cruel and crazy, had caused widespread panic in society. More than 50,000 people took to the streets of Taipei for a march, protesting, demanding the government improve public security, and solve the case as soon as possible. Not only that, the police involved in the case also discovered that their internal communications were continuously monitored by the kidnappers, which was undoubtedly the biggest blunder in this case. After investigation, the 3 main culprits were named Lin Chunsheng, Gao Tianming, and Chen Jixing. Before the kidnapping, they had criminal records and had served time together, with Chen Jixing committing at least 19 rape cases. When the 3 fled, they still had 300 bullets on them, because all 3 had strong anti-surveillance awareness. So for a long time, the Taipei police were unable to locate them, and during that time, they committed 2 more kidnappings, suspected 3 homicides and multiple rapes, including kidnapping a Taipei County Council member and extorting $5 million. On August 8th, they kidnapped a wealthy businessman and extorted $5 million. On August 19th, Lin Chunsheng and Gao Tianming among the 3 engaged in a shootout with police, in which Lin Chunsheng was fatally shot. It is worth mentioning that this shootout was broadcast live in full by Crime File TV, with some reporters having no protection measures at all, even forcing police to boldly charge at the front lines. However, it was precisely because of them that Gao Tianming managed to escape successfully. On November 23rd, Chen Jixing and Gao Tianming went to a plastic surgery clinic, forcing a doctor to perform double eyelid suturing surgery on Gao Tianming. Afterward, the 2 murdered the chief surgeon and 2 nurses. On November 17th, Gao Tianming was discovered by police at an adult entertainment venue where a gunfight broke out. After the battle, Gao Tianming committed suicide by shooting himself, leaving only Chen Jixing among the 3 main culprits. On November 18th, Chen Jixing, with a 10 million new Taiwan dollars reward on him, broke into the home of the South African military attaché in Taiwan, taking him, his wife, their 2 daughters, and an adopted Taiwanese baby hostage. At first, police sneaked into the home's bathroom, preparing to raid, but collided with some reporters inside the bathroom, causing the raid to fail. Subsequently, during a gunfight between Chen Jixing and the police, the South African attach and his 22-year-old daughter were injured. After the gunfight stopped, a reporter actually called the home of the military officer and interviewed Chen Jixing. 14 hours later, Chen Jixing said he wanted to negotiate with the police. In the end, he had the police bring his wife. Zhang Suzhen and his wife were brought together for 2 hours before he left the house to surrender. On January 23, 1998, the New Taipei District Court sentenced Chen Jixing to 5 death sentences and 2 life imprisonments. On October 6, 1999, at the age of 41, he was executed by firing squad.